Welcome everyone. Today we have 5 tips and tricks to help everyone progress faster in the game. Our first tip is to collect or tag all the Oculus you come along the way as you explore the world, and record those Oculus collections. What do I mean by that? Let's have a look at the interactive map that is available for the game. So why is it so important to collect the Oculus? Let me show you guys the rewards for collecting those. So over here you can see that my only 5-star artifact, the legendary artifact, is actually from collecting all of the Oculus. And on top of the legendary artifact, I was able to obtain 5 of the best food in the game, which is very difficult to craft and also gives us 316 attack damage, which provides a higher damage than most of the level 50 weapons, and this gives your party a massive boost of damage to clear those hard to clear maps or maybe finishing off the weekly boss. Now if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to join us. We have a lovely community, and also I'll be looking for more news, builds, tips and locations all about the game. And you can see my previous videos were really dedicated for Genshin Impact. Now if you haven't seen this interactive map before, this is an individual website which allows you to keep track of things in the game. So what you can do is you can come to Portfolio and sign in with a dummy Gmail, and afterwards you can start to see there are a lot of features you can start to tag. For example, if I have collected this particular Oculus, I can click as marked, and after doing that this Oculus grays out. This isn't a big deal at the start of the game, but as you go deeper and deeper into the game, you would have wished you started to collect and actually record all the Oculus you have came across on your way. So knowing how important those Oculus are, it is crucial that we start to tag them in the interactive map, because I was going through the entire map for the Geo Oculus and it took me 4 days. Imagine if you started collecting them and actually marking them down, this would have saved me at least 3 days time, because I didn't have to go back and check every location that's available. Now of course, you don't have to force yourself to do this, because when patch 1.1 comes out, which we do have the confirmed date now, it's at the start of November. When this patch comes out, after getting your statue to level 9, the remaining Oculus on the map will start to show, and this makes it much easier and you do not have to tag it. But if you don't want to wait for another month time and you actually want to get all of your Oculus down for some really good rewards, I still recommend you guys to start considering marking each of the Oculus down as you collect them. My second tip to get ahead in the game is to actually loot everything. I know this sounds a little trivial, but if you start to loot the resource like the frogs, the fish and the lizards that's run on the ground, you need to have fast fingers, and they do disappear after a few seconds with frogs and lizards and the small crabs, and sometimes the fish will swim away. Also, taking your time to loot all of the monster drops is essential, because the crafting system in the game, eventually you will need those monster items regarding what units you have, and those units would need those items to unlock talents and to improve their spells. So what's going to happen is, as you grab those items from the monsters, they can be converted into a higher grade. We can come over to the crafting bench, and by going to the crafting bench, what you're going to see is there is actually a lot of the monster items. As you acquire the lower tier monster items, let's say the green ones, the sharp arrow, or even sometimes you can acquire the lower tier ones, the common ones, the grey ones, the slimes, even those are essential, because 3 of those actually convert into a green one, and 3 of the green ones goes into a blue one. But initially you will not be able to get the green ones until you collect enough of the grey ones, because the monsters don't drop the higher tier. And also sometimes you will find yourself having some of the higher tiers to be locked. Even if this is locked, what I can do is I can prepare myself for those items before I get the adventure level. And this is when we come to the next point: prepare your Powerspikes. As you explore the game and get higher adventure level with adventure level 20, 25, 30 and 35 and beyond, your world rank will increase. This will increase the difficulty in the game, while in return you'll get more loot from the monsters. But this increase in difficulty can make it hard for you as you reach those adventure levels. What we can do is, we can look in advance to see what items are needed to upgrade our characters, what is needed to upgrade the weapon, and also what is needed to upgrade the talents of the characters. In order to check what do we need to upgrade a character, you don't have to max level the character. What you can do is come over here and click this little button. You can see that to upgrade my Ember beyond level 20, I will need those items, and I can start to collect them now. And as my Ember goes up further, I can check again for the next level of upgrades for her. Similarly, as we click onto weapons and click onto enhance, what you can see is you can see the required material to upgrade the weapon as you reach the maximum level of the weapon. Yes, you can see over here it needs adventure level 35 to unlock the weapon. And also it is not available for us to get the purple wolf farms. What we can do is we can start to collect enough of the blue farms to have 9 of those. Having 9 of those, we can craft instantly when this particular item is unlocked at rank 35. So coming over to the crafting bench and dragging down over here, you can see that I have prepared 6 of the blue founds ready. I just need 3 more in order for myself to have 3 of the purple founds once I'm adventure level 35. You cannot craft the founds unless you get to level 35, but as long as I have the materials ready for that, I can craft them right away when I get to the level. Lastly, as we look into the talents, those are not essential right away at level 20 adventure level, but they do come into play at level 25. By clicking on to level up, you can see what is required to get the books and also to get the monster material. This is why it's essential to collect monster materials. At the start, they cost 6 each, and the talent can go up to level 15, so you need a lot of the monster material and a lot of the books. If you're not sure where to find those books, definitely check out our resin guide, which I showed you guys how to farm those books and the best use of resins. I find that tip number 3 to prepare yourself for those items is essential as I reach the high adventure level. Because the monsters are harder, I will spend more time on them, and as long as I have those materials ready, I can have my matching power spike compared to the monsters. Sometimes I'm even stronger than them. So this makes my progression of the game even quicker than most of the players who still have to go back and farm those items. Our tip number 4 focus on the default gameplay order. Or what should I do in the game, and what if I don't have enough time to play the game? So firstly, usually I go into the game, I double check my resin cap. If it's over 120 or at 120, I want to spend a bit of resin. I can use the resin for some of the dungeons, some of the world bosses, or even some of the bosses for the flowers. For a detailed resin guide, I still recommend you guys check out my previous video on this one. Now, what most people don't realize is that you can recharge resin 6 times, and each time we recharge, we get 60 resins for 50 gems for the first time. On the second time, the price doubles into 100, then 100 again by the next one, 3 times at 150, 150, and then finally into 200. So the cost of resin actually goes up. Knowing that the price of resin goes up as we refill them really helps. Because during my time in beta, I was preparing about 250 or 150 gems to recharge a few times for resin, to do my weekly boss or to do some of the dungeons before the week ends. I wasn't prepared that the price is going to go up, and the amount of primal gems I prepared was not enough to purchase multiple times. So having this in mind really helps you plan things out, and sometimes when you do need a purchase, you know what you're expecting with the price. Now after we spent a bit of our resin, we should really look into 4 of the daily commissions and make sure we come back to the Adventure Guild to collect the completion bonus. I know it's a little trivial to say this, but I had a friend who actually forgot to collect the bonus. The bonus gives you additional gems and also additional adventure experience, so it's essential we come back to collect the bonus. As for a faster progression and adventure experience in the game, what we can look for is for the main quest, the side quest, and the world quest. Those particular quests tends to have a chain of events with the main and side quest. The world quest can have a chain of events, but those don't happen as frequently, and the reward from the world quest is less than the main and side quest. I tend to finish the first 2 first, then come back to the world quest after. And sometimes if I'm on my way to collect some Oculus, it's even better to do the quest and collect the Oculus at the same time. For a more detailed guide on how to farm primal gems, finishing off quest, and collecting Oculus at the same time, I recommend you guys checking out the previous video of how we collected over 11,000 primal gems in 8 days. Our final tip is exploration strategies. Some of those are quite standard, but as we go deeper, those can really be helpful. So first of all, we can unlock all the world points and statues as we travel across the world. You don't have to rush the puzzles and the chests first. And as you go around the world, talk to NPCs, and if you pick a different dialogue than before, you might be able to get some freebies. Sometimes this can be a 3-star food, sometimes it can be a recipe, other times you can get some raw materials. And some of the NPCs also give you world quests as you speak to them. Next up, don't be afraid to tag those unsolved Oculus puzzles or quests as you come across them. Because you will not have all the time to solve everything on your way, you will be mentally and physically fatigued. So tagging them and coming back to them later gives you mind at ease and give you a bit of time to relax, And you can always come back to them when you are in the puzzle solving mode and feeling extra smart. And finally, as we explore across this beautiful world in hidden ruins and dungeons, what I recommend for you guys is to be more mindful of the hidden treasures. There's a lot of those. I'll give you guys an example of one of my previous videos, and what we can do is there's a lot of the similar ones. For example, some of those plates can be stand up on, and if you see 2 of those plates, what you can do is you can use your main character into Geo. It's really recommended to get main character into Geo for a lot of those puzzles. So get the main character into Geo and throw one of the Geo rocks onto the other one, and this way you can open up a secret treasure. There can be other statues, which you see 3 statues in a formation, and if you throw a Geo rock onto the 4th position, you can get a treasure. So a lot of small things like those can be really helpful. I'll show you guys this one. So what you can do is get your Geo main character and throw down a Geo little rock, and all of a sudden you get a door open, and we can get quite a bit of loot not only from this chest but also for the additional puzzle it unlocks as well. To summarize this video, with the first tip and the third tip we can get at least 5 or 6 days ahead, simply because we don't have to spend the extra 3 days to come back and look for all the last missing pieces of the Oculus, and also we save so much time by having our Powerspikes ready each time we get a high adventure level. And as we loot all the available resources in the game and also have a proper resource management with reasons, we are more likely to acquire more of the items that is needed to upgrade our characters. And finally, and the most important tip of all, is to remember to have fun in the game. We're here to explore, we're here to be amazed by how beautiful the game can be, and don't be stressed out if you can't solve a puzzle or if you feel like your progression is a little slower. There is no rush. The game will be here all the time, and it is a free-to-play game. So the longer we play, the more we can get out of it. And there isn't any competition between you or anybody else, because it's a PvE game. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also click the bell for more videos like this to come. As always, I wish you guys best of luck in Genshin and also have a great time exploring this beautiful world. I'll see you guys next time. Take care everyone.